Rachel, hello. And once again, I do apologise for the inadequate sound quality of yesterday's recording. I don't think I can do anything about it, really, unfortunately. It would be beyond my technical ability to increase it and re-edit it accordingly. I hope, nevertheless, that you were able to hear some of it, even if it was a very distant voice. And I'm going to try one more excerpt from Camera Lucida. And I still want to rename you that on HP, because I think that was a good name for you. But we shall think about that. And yesterday it was very abstract. Barthes was talking a lot about, the time and space which is captured by a photograph, and the different concepts of time and space with which that accords. And a lot of the book is like that. He likes talking about abstract things. So, yes, he continues like that for a lot of sections, particularly talking about something I feel a lot, the sense of loss in a photograph. And he writes about the experiences created by looking at photographs of his deceased mother. So it's not particularly cheerful, as you can imagine. But I just want to continue after he's analysed that. This is section 28, page 67 of the paperback. There I was, alone in the apartment where my mother had died, looking at these pictures of her, one by one under the lamp, gradually moving back in time with her, looking for the truth of the face I had loved. And I found it. The photograph was very old. The corners were blunted from having been pasted into an album. The sepia print had faded, and the picture just managed to show two children standing together at the end of a little wooden bridge in a conservatory, which was called the Winter Garden in those days. My mother was 5 years old at the time, in 1898. Her brother was 7. He was leaning against the bridge, along which he had extended one arm. She, shorter than he was standing a little further back, facing the camera. You could tell that the photographer had said, "Step forward a little so that we can see you." She was holding one finger in the other hand, as children often do, in an awkward gesture. The brother and sister united, as I knew, by the discord of their parents, who were soon to divorce. They had posed side by side, alone under the palms of the Winter Garden. It was the house where my mother was born, in Chenevière-sur-Marne. I studied the little girl, and at last rediscovered my mother. The distinctness of her face, the naive attitude of her hands, the place she had docilely taken without either showing or hiding herself, and finally her expression, which distinguished her like good from evil, from the hysterical little girl, from the simpering doll who plays at being a grown-up. All of this constituted the figure of innocence, if you take this word to mean I do no harm. All this had transformed the photographic pose into that untenable paradox which she had nonetheless maintained all her life: the assertion of gentleness. In this little girl's image I saw the kindness which had formed her being immediately and forever, without her having inherited it from anyone. How could this kindness have proceeded from the imperfect grandparents who had loved her so badly? In short, from her family. Her kindness was specifically out of play. It belonged to no system, or at least it was located at the limits of morality. I could not define it better than by this feature, that during the whole of our life together she never made a single observation. This extreme and particular circumstance, so abstract in relation to an image, was none the less present in the face revealed in the photograph I had just discovered. Not a just image, just an image, Jean-Luc Godard says. But my grief wanted a just image, an image which would be both justice and accuracy. Just an image, but a just image. Such, for me, was the Winter Garden photograph. And I think I'll leave it there if you don't mind. There are still 1 or 2 pages in that section to read, but I will continue with those at some future time. I never knew he was so poetic. I didn't think there are still tendencies towards complexity, overcomplication, and I don't know, difficulty. I'm not criticizing him for being difficult at all, far from it. But that I thought was a rather touching and beautiful passage. I shall try to find the picture he's talking about with which to illustrate this clip. I don't know if I shall be able to, but I will try. Okay, have a brilliant, brilliant day, and I'm sure we shall be in touch at some point. Bye-bye.